Journey to the West is one of the four great classical novels of Chinese literature, a story that has captivated imaginations for centuries. Written by Cheng'en during the Ming Dynasty, Journey to the West is far more than just a myth. It is an epic tale of adventure, redemption, and spiritual enlightenment. The story begins with a historical pilgrimage. It draws inspiration from the real-life journey of the monk Tang Xuanzang, who traveled across dangerous deserts and mountains to India in search of sacred Buddhist scriptures. However, Wu Qingyin transformed this historical trek into a fantastical mythological saga filled with gods, demons, and magic. At the heart of this story is a team of unlikely heroes. Tang Paris Tripitaka, the devout monk leading the mission. Sun Wukong, the rebellious and powerful monkey king, born from stone and master of 72 transformations. Zhu Bar Jiepigzi, the gluttonous yet humorous monk pig, master of 36 transformations. And Sha Wujing Sandy, the quiet and steadfast friar sand. Together, they face 81 tribulations, battling formidable demons and overcoming their own inner flaws. It is a story that blends Taoist cosmology, Buddhist philosophy, and the enduring human spirit of perseverance. On this channel, following the Journey to the West original novel from Chapter 1 to Chapter 100, I will show the most authentic story to you. Now, we must go back to the moment when the stone was merely a stone and the heavens were still silent. Let's open Chapter 1, where the story doesn't start with a monk, but with a mountain. Chapter 1. The divine root conceives, its source revealed, mind and nature are cultivated, the great way is born. Before heaven and earth were separated, the world lay in total chaos and confusion, boundless and indistinct, with no one able to see what lay within. When Panga broke the nebula apart, the dense and pure defined, did clearing start. Heaven and earth sustain all living things. All beings rely on their supreme benevolence. Heaven and earth teach all things how to become good they should. In gratitude for Panga's creation of heaven and earth, the three emperors put the world in order and the five rulers laid down the moral code. The world was divided into four great continents. East Purvavidaha continent, West Aparagodania continent, South Jambudvipa continent, North Uttarakuru continent. The story begins in the East Purvavidaha continent. Beyond the ocean, there is a country called Aulai. The country is next to the sea, and in the sea stands a mountain called Flower Fruit Mountain. This mountain is the ancestral artery of the 10 islets and the origin of the 3 islands. It has stood firm since heaven and earth separated, formed the moment chaos split apart. What a magnificent mountain! There are some poems that praise it. This divine eastern mountain towers over the endless sea, its majesty calming the fairyland-like sea. Its power subdues the tides, which surge like silver mountains, making fish hide in their caves. Its might calms the fairyland-like sea. The white wave is surging as mirages rise from the deep abyss of the sea. The Flower Fruit Mountain highly rises in the southeast, with the mountain's peak standing tall on the edge of the eastern sea. Red cliffs bristle with strange, jagged rocks. Perilous peaks rise beside steep and knife-cut slopes. Upon the red cliffs, a pair of colorful phoenixes sing to each other. Before the sheer stone walls, an auspicious Qilin rests alone. From the summit, golden pheasants are often heard crowing. From the mountain caves, divine dragons frequently come and go. Within the forests live long-lived immortal deer and spiritual immortal foxes. In ancient trees perch delicately beautiful birds and black cranes. Divine herbs and peculiar flowers bloom year-round, never fading. Green pines and emerald cypresses stay lush forever, through all 4 seasons. Divine peach trees bear full and ripe peaches all year long. Thin bamboo groves are often wrapped in floating mist and clouds. Along a mountain ravine, vines and creepers grow thick and dense. On the slopes around the mountain, the grass is tender, fresh, and green. This is indeed the pillar holding up the sky where 100 rivers converge, the foundation of the earth that endures 10,000 kalpas without shifting. At the very top of the mountain lies a divine stone. The stone stands 36 feet and 5 inches high, with a circumference of 24 feet. Its height corresponds to the 365 degrees of the celestial circle. Its circumference matches the 24 solar terms of the calendar. The stone has 9 apertures and 8 holes, corresponding to the 9 palaces and 8 trigrams. No trees shaded on any side, yet glossy Ganoderma and orchids grow beside it in support. Since the beginning of heaven and earth, this divine stone has absorbed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth and the essence of the sun and moon. After long exposure, it gains spiritual awareness. Inside the stone, a divine embryo formed. One day, the stone burst open and laid a stone egg, round as a ball. Exposed to the wind, the egg turned into a stone monkey, fully formed with all 5 sense organs and 4 limbs. As soon as he was born, the stone monkey learned to crawl and walk. He bowed to the 4 directions, and 2 beams of golden light shot from his eyes straight up to the constellations of the heavenly dome. This golden light startled the highest saint, the great benevolent sage of heaven, the Jade Emperor of the celestial heaven. Sitting in the hall of divine mists in the golden arches palace of clouds, he summoned all immortal ministers. Seeing the golden light blazing, he immediately ordered Thousand-Mile Eye and Fairwind Ear to open the southern heavenly gate and investigate. The 2 generals obeyed, went out through the gate, saw clearly, and heard fully. They quickly returned and reported, "Your subjects, we have investigated the source of the golden light. In the territory of the small country of Aulai, east of the sea in the East Purvavida continent, there is a flower fruit mountain. On the mountain lies a divine stone, which laid an egg that turned into a stone monkey when touched by the wind. He is now bowing to the 4 directions, shooting golden light into the heavens. Now the monkey has begun eating and drinking, and the golden light is gradually fading." The Jade Emperor said mercifully, "All creatures below are born of the essences of heaven and earth. There is nothing strange in this situation." The stone monkey wandered and leaped through the mountains. He ate plants and grass, drank from mountain springs, plucked mountain flowers, and foraged fruit from trees. He kept company with wolves and insects, grouped with tigers and leopards, befriended deer and antelope, and was kin to macaques and apes. At night he slept under stone cliffs. By day he played among peaks and caves. Truly it lived up to the saying, "No calendar exists in the mountains. When winter ends, one knows not the year." One sweltering day, the stone monkey cooled off with a troop of monkeys, playing under pine shade, jumping trees, climbing branches, picking flowers, searching for fruit, throwing marbles, playing games, running in sand pits, building pagodas, chasing dragonflies, catching insects, bowing to heaven, bowing to Buddhas, twisting vines, weaving straw sandals, picking lice, biting and pinching, grooming fur, picking nails, pushing and shoving one another, playing freely under green pines, washing freely by green streams. After playing for a while, they went to bathe in a mountain stream, where the water rushed and surged like rolling melons. As an old saying goes, birds have their speech, beasts have their language. The monkeys said to each other, "We have no idea where this water comes from. Today we are free. Let's follow the stream upward to find its source and have fun." With a single shout, they all brought their young, called to their brothers, and ran together. They climbed the mountain along the stream until they reached the source, a cascading waterfall. The waterfall rose like a white rainbow, with 1,000 yards of snowcaps flying. Sea winds could not break it. River moons shone brightly upon it. Its cold air parted the green mountains. Its flowing waters nourished the woodlands. The murmuring cascade truly resembled a hanging curtain. The monkeys clapped and praised. "Marvelous water! Marvelous water! This waterfall flows all the way to the foot of the mountain and connects directly to the waves of the great ocean." They added, "Whoever has the ability to jump in, find the source, jump back out, and come to no harm, we will honor him as king." They shouted this 3 times. Suddenly, a stone monkey leaped out from the grass and yelled loudly, "I will go in! I will go in!" Closing his eyes and crouching low, he leaped high and jumped straight into the waterfall. Suddenly he opened his eyes and looked up. There was no water, no waves at all, only a clear bridge. He stood steady, calmed himself, and looked carefully. It was an iron plate bridge. Beneath the bridge, water rushed through a stone crevice and flowed outward upside down, covering the bridge entrance. He stepped onto the bridge and looked around. Inside, it looked just like a human dwelling. Truly a wonderful place. Green moss piled like indigo, white clouds floated like jade, and rosy sunlight flickered bright. Quiet and empty chambers, smooth benches seemingly blooming with flowers. Stalactites hung like dragon pearls. Strange flowers circled the ground. A stove leaned against a cliff, still bearing traces of fire. Wine cups rested on tables, with leftover food visible. Stone seats and stone beds were lovely, stone bowls and stone basins even more admirable. A few slender bamboos, 3 or 5 plum blossoms, several green pines always damp with mist. This place looked exactly like a real home. After gazing for a long time, he jumped to the middle of the bridge and looked around. Right in the center stood a stone tablet inscribed with large regular characters: Flower Fruit Mountain, Blessed Land, Water Curtain Cave, Heavenly Cave. Overjoyed, the stone monkey quickly turned and rushed back out. Again closing his eyes and crouching, he leaped outside the waterfall, laughing. Great luck! Great luck! The monkeys surrounded him and asked, "What's inside? How deep is the water?" The stone monkey said, "No water. No water. It's actually an iron plate bridge. Beyond the bridge is a wonderful natural dwelling." The monkeys asked, "How is it a proper home?" The stone monkey laughed. The water rushes and fills the space under the bridge and flows outside to cover the gate. Beside the bridge are flowers and trees and a stone house. Inside the house are stone niches, a stone stove, stone bowls, stone basins, stone beds, and stone benches. In the middle is a stone tablet inscribed, "Flower Fruit Mountain, Blessed Land, Water Curtain Cave, Heavenly Cave." This is truly our place to settle. Inside is extremely spacious, holding thousands of the young and old. Let's all move in and be free from the whims of heaven and weather. Inside we can hide from wind, shelter from rain, fear no frost or snow, never hear thunder. Mist and sunlight always shine, and auspicious signs constantly surround us. Pines and bamboos stay beautiful year after year. Strange flowers bloom fresh each day. Hearing this, all the monkeys rejoiced, saying, "You go first. Let us in." In. The stone monkey again closed his eyes, crouched, and leaped inside, calling, "All follow me. Come in." The bold monkeys jumped in. The timid ones craned their necks, shrank back, scratched their heads and cheeks, shouting loudly, hesitating. Then all entered too. Once across the bridge, the monkeys scrambled for bowls and basins, fought over stoves and beds, moving things back and forth. Such is the mischievous nature of monkeys. Not a moment of peace until they were exhausted. The stone monkey sat upright above and said, "Gentlemen, as the saying goes, a man who breaks his word is worthless. You just said whoever could enter and exit unharmed would be made king. Now I have gone in and out, found this heavenly cave to let you all sleep safely and enjoy a home. Why don't you honor me as your king?" Hearing this, all the monkeys knelt and kowtowed, not daring to disobey. One by one they lined up by age, bowed upward, and called him Great King with 1,000 years. From then on, the stone monkey took the throne, dropped the word stone, and became known as the handsome Monkey King. A poem testifies, "Triple spring brings forth all living things. Divine stone holds the sun and moon's essence. Through an egg, it becomes a monkey to reach the great way. Borrowing surname can also match the elixir made." Looking inside, he cannot see nothing because it has no form. His outward guise coheres in action shown. Men have always been like this, hailed as a king, a sage, and roamed freely as they wished. The handsome Monkey King led a host of apes, macaques, and horse monkeys, assigning roles of ruler and ministers. By day they played on Flower Fruit Mountain. By night they slept in the Water Curtain Cave. United in one mind, they did not mix with flocks of birds or herds of beasts, ruling alone in great joy. Thus, in spring they picked flowers for food. In summer they sought fruits to live. In autumn they harvested yams and chestnuts to last the season. In winter they found sealwort to pass the years. The handsome Monkey King lived happily in the mountains for 300 to 400 years. One day, while feasting with the monkeys, he suddenly grew sad and worried, shedding tears. The monkeys hastily knelt and asked, "Your Majesty, why do you grieve?" The Monkey King said, "I am happy now, yet I have a long-term worry that troubles me." The monkeys laughed. "Your Majesty is too greedy. Every day we rejoice here in this divine mountain, blessed land, ancient cave, and divine continent. We are not ruled by Cheng'en, controlled by phoenixes, or bound by human kings. We are free, boundless happiness. Why worry about the distant future?" The Monkey King said, "Though I am free from human laws and unafraid of beasts now, when I grow old and weak in years to come, I will be secretly governed by Yama, the king of hell. Once I die, will I not have lived in vain, unable to remain in heaven and earth forever? Hearing this, all the monkeys covered their faces and wept, grieving over the inevitability of death. Suddenly, a long-armed ape leaped out from the group and cried loudly, "If your majesty has such long-term concerns, your Tao heart has truly awakened. Among the 5 types of creatures in the world, only 3 species are out of the jurisdiction of Yama." The Monkey King asked, "Which 3?" The ape said, "The Buddhas, the Immortals, and Holy Sages. They escape the cycle of transmigration, are neither born nor destroyed, and live as long as heaven, earth, mountains, and rivers." The Monkey King asked, "Where do these 3 live?" The ape said, "They dwell only in the human world, within ancient caves and immortal mountains." Overjoyed, the Monkey King said, "Tomorrow I will bid you all farewell. Leave the mountain, wander across seas and shores, travel to the ends of the earth to find these 3, learn the art of immortality, and escape Yama's judgment forever." Oh, these words freed him from the net of reincarnation and eventually made him the great sage equal to heaven. The monkeys clapped and cheered. "Excellent, excellent. Tomorrow we will cross mountains, gather plenty of fruits, and hold a grand feast to send your majesty off." The next day, the monkeys indeed gathered peaches, picked rare fruits, dug wild yams, and harvested sealwort, along with glossy ganoderma, orchids, fragrant herbs, and immortal flowers, all neatly arranged. They set out stone benches and tables, filled with immortal wine and dishes. Cherries like golden pearls and jade bullets, sweet and rich, plums red and plump, fragrant and tart, fresh longan with sweet flesh and thin skin, ripe lychees with small seeds and red skins, green apples presented on branches, yellow loquats held with leaves, rabbit head pears and heart-shaped jujubes to quench thirst and ease worry, fragrant peaches and ripe apricots, sweet as divine nectar, crisp plums and bayberries, tart as cream, watermelons with red flesh and black seeds, persimmons with 4 yellow segments, pomegranates split open like fiery pearls, peeled yams and chestnuts like golden agate, walnuts and ginkgos for tea, coconuts and grapes for wine, hazelnuts, pines, torreya, and apples filling plates, oranges, sugar canes, and oranges covering tables, baked wild yams, boiled sealwort, mashed poria and koik seeds simmered slowly into soup in stone pots. Even the finest delicacies on earth cannot compare to the peaceful joy of mountain monkeys. The monkeys seated the handsome Monkey King at the head, each sitting below in order of age. One by one they took turns offering wine, flowers, and fruit, feasting all day long. Early the next morning, the Monkey King rose and said, "Little ones, break some dry pine branches and weave a raft. Take bamboo poles for punting. Gather some fruit. I am leaving." He climbed onto the raft alone, pushed hard with the pole, and drifted toward the great ocean. Riding the southeast wind, he crossed over to the South Jambudvipa continent. A poem sings of this journey. Heaven-born divine monkey of great Tao heart leaves the mountain on a raft with fair wind. Across oceans he seeks the immortal way, determined to achieve great merit. With fate and fortune he leaves worldly desires. Carefree, he meets his true guide. Surely he will find an intimate friend who discloses the source and unlocks all dharma. It was his lucky time. After boarding the raft, strong southeast winds blew for days, carrying him to the northwest shore, the South Jambudvipa continent. He probed the water with his pole, found shallow water, abandoned the raft, and jumped ashore. He saw people by the sea fishing, hunting wild geese, digging clams, and sifting salt. He walked forward, pretending to be a ghost or monster, scaring those people into dropping their baskets and nets and fleeing in all directions. He caught one who could not run, stripped off his clothes, and put them on. Waddling through cities and towns, he learned human etiquette and speech. He lived among people day and night, single-mindedly seeking the path of Buddhas, immortals, and sages to find immortality. He saw that all people in the world chased fame and profit. Not a single one cared for their own life. Truly, a poem says, "When will fame and profit ever cease? Rising early, sleeping late, never free. Riding donkeys, one craves fine horses. Being a minister, one aspires to be king. Only worrying about food and clothing, toiling endlessly, not fearing when Yama comes for their soul. Descendants seek wealth and power. No one is willing to turn back. The Monkey King searched far and wide for immortals, but met no fate with them. He wandered the streets and alleys in the South Jambudvipa continent for 8 or 9 years. One day, he reached the Western Ocean. He thought there must be immortals across the sea, so he wove another raft as before, crossed the Western Ocean, and arrived at the west of Paragodania continent. After going ashore and searching for a long time, he suddenly saw a beautiful, secluded high mountain. Fearless of wolves, insects, tigers, or leopards, he climbed to the peak and looked. Truly a wonderful mountain. Thousands of peaks spread like swords and halberds. Millions of peaks unfold like screens. Sunlight gilds mountain mist, gently locking green. After rain, the mountains are dark blue, cold and clear. Dry vines wrap around old trees. Ancient fairy paths lead to quiet trails. Strange flowers and auspicious herbs, slender bamboos and green pines are evergreen, better than a fairyland, flourishing and blooming in all seasons, rivaling the fairy Alpunglai. Chirps of birds echo in the ears, springs flow crisp and clear. Layered valleys surround iris and orchids. Every cliff grows thick with moss. The ranges rise and fall, like a dragon's pulse. Surely there must be a wise hermit who lives here. As he watched, he suddenly heard voices from deep within the woods. He hurried in, listened closely. It was someone singing. Watching chess until the axe handle rots, cutting wood with rhythmic taps, walking slowly by cloud-lined valleys, selling firewood, buying wine, laughing wildly, content at heart. High autumn on old paths, sleeping till dawn under pine roots by the moon, finding familiar woods, climbing cliffs, crossing ridges, and holding an axe to cut dry vines. Gathering a full load, strolling and singing through the market, trading for 3 pints of rice. No strife at all, prices fair and even. Knowing no schemes or calculations, no honor or disgrace, living quietly in peace. Those I meet are either immortals or Taoists, sitting quietly expounding the Yellow Court Classic. Overjoyed, the handsome Monkey King said, "Immortals are hiding here." He quickly jumped into the woods and looked carefully. It was a woodcutter, raising his axe to cut wood. His appearance was most extraordinary. On his head, a bamboo hat woven from fresh bamboo sheaths. On his body, cloth clothes spun from kapok. Around his waist, a silk sash from old silkworms. On his feet, straw sandals twisted from dry grass. In his hand, a pure steel axe. On his shoulder, a hemp rope. No one matched his skill in breaking pines and chopping trees. The Monkey King stepped forward and called, "Old Immortal, your disciple pays his respects." The woodcutter hastily dropped his axe, turned and bowed. "I dare not. I dare not. I am a rough man, barely clothed and fed. How can I be called an immortal?" The Monkey King said, "If you are not an immortal, how could you speak immortal words?" The woodcutter asked, "What immortal words did I speak?" The Monkey King said, "Just now by the woods, I heard you sing. Those I meet are either immortals or Taoists, sitting quietly expounding the Yellow Court Classic." The Yellow Court Classic is a true scripture that contains the perfect words of the Tao and virtue. Who but an immortal would speak of it? The woodcutter laughed. To tell the truth, this poem is called "A Court Full of Blossoms That an Immortal Taught It to Me." That immortal lives near my home. Seeing my family's hardship and daily troubles, he told me to recite this poem when distressed, to calm my mind and ease my worries. I was just thinking of my family's troubles and recited a few lines, not expecting you to hear. The Monkey King said, "Since your neighbor is an immortal, why not practice with him and learn immortality? Would that not be wonderful?" The woodcutter said, "My fate is bitter. My parents raised me until I was 8 or 9. Just as I began to understand the world, my father passed away, leaving my mother widowed. I have no brothers or sisters, only myself. I have no choice but to serve my mother day and night. Now she is old. I dare not leave her. Our fields are barren, and we lack food and clothing. I can only cut 2 bundles of firewood, carry them to market for a few coins, buy rice, cook for myself, and support my mother. Thus I cannot go to practice with him to learn immortality." The Monkey King said, "You are a filial gentleman by your words. You shall surely be rewarded in the future. I only beg you to show me where the immortal lives, so I may visit." The woodcutter said, "Not far, not far. This mountain is called the Mountain of Mind and Heart. Inside it is a cave of slanting moon and 3 stars. In the cave lives an immortal named Patriarch Subodhi. Countless disciples have studied under him. 30 to 40 still practice with him today. Follow that small path south for 7 or 8 miles. That is his abode. The Monkey King grabbed him. Brother, come with me. If I gain benefit, I will never forget your guidance. The Woodcutter said, You are too stubborn. I just explained clearly, yet you still do not understand. If I go with you, my work will be delayed. Who will support my mother? I must go cut wood. Go on by yourself. The Monkey King had no choice but to take his leave. He walked out of the deep forest, found the small path, crossed a slope, and traveled about 7 or 8 miles. Sure enough, he saw an immortal cave dwelling. He stood and watched, truly a blessed place. Mist and clouds shine in 5 colors, sun and moon sway with radiance. 1,000 old cypresses, 10,000 slender bamboos. 1,000 old cypresses, green and dripping in midair with mist. 10,000 slender bamboos, dark and lush in valleys shrouded in smoke. Outside the gate, strange flowers spread like brocade. By the bridge, divine herbs exude fragrance. Stone cliffs rise abruptly, moss damp and green. High cliffs stand steep, emerald lichen grows. Cranes are often heard calling. Phoenixes are often seen flying. When cranes call, their voices shake the distant sky. When phoenixes fly, their feathers glow like 5-colored clouds. Black apes and white deer appear and disappear. Golden lions and jade elephants wander freely. Looking closely at this holy blessed land, it truly resembles the paradise. He saw the cave gate tightly closed, silent with no sign of people. Suddenly he turned and saw a stone slab standing on the cliff, about 30 feet high and 8 feet wide, inscribed with large letters. The Mountain of Mind and Heart. The Cave of Slanting Moon and 3 Stars. Overjoyed, the handsome Monkey King said, These people are indeed honest. The mountain and cave truly exist. He watched for a long time, not daring to knock. Instead, he jumped onto a pine branch, ate pine nuts, and played. After a while, a creak sounded, the cave gate opened. An immortal boy stepped out, handsome and pure in appearance, unlike ordinary humans. The boy stepped outside and called loudly, Who is causing a disturbance here? The Monkey King plopped down from the tree, stepped forward, and bowed. Immortal boy, I am a disciple seeking the Tao and immortality. I dare not cause trouble. The boy laughed. Are you here to seek the Tao? The Monkey King said, I am. The boy said, My master just rose from bed and ascended the platform to preach the Tao. Before speaking, he told me to open the gate and said, Someone seeking cultivation has arrived outside. Go receive him. Surely that is you. The Monkey King laughed. It is me. It is me. The boy said, Follow me in. The Monkey King straightened his clothes, composed himself, and followed the boy straight into the depths of the cave. Layer upon layer of deep pavilions and jade towers, pearl palaces and jade chambers, endless quiet chambers, until they reached the terrace below the jasper altar. There sat Patriarch Subodhi on the platform, with 30 young immortals standing in attendance below. Truly, the great enlightened immortal has no defiled form, Master Subodhi, the wonderful Lord of the West. Neither born nor destroyed, complete in virtue, full of spirit and boundless compassion. Emptiness and stillness change naturally. True Buddha nature is able to do all things. A solemn body living as long as heaven, a great master whose heart is enlightened through kalpas. At the sight, the handsome Monkey King knelt and kowtowed countless times, saying only, Master, Master, this disciple pays sincere homage. Sincere homage. The Patriarch said, Where are you from? First, state your hometown and name, then bow. The Monkey King said, This disciple is from the Water Curtain Cave, Flower Fruit Mountain, Alai Country, East Purvavidha Continent. The Patriarch shouted, Throw him out. He is a liar. How can he cultivate Tao attainment? The Monkey King hurriedly kowtowed without stopping. I speak the truth, not a single lie. The Patriarch said, If you are honest, why mention the East Purvavidha continent? From there to here lie 2 great oceans, and the South Jambudvipa continent. How could you reach here? The Monkey King kowtowed. This disciple crossed oceans, traveled everywhere, and spent more than 10 years searching before arriving here. The Patriarch said, Since you came step by step, so be it. What is your surname? The Monkey King said, I have no temper. When others insult me, I do not get angry. When others hit me, I do not get annoyed. I just apologize and let it be. I have no temper at all. The Patriarch said, I'm not asking your temple. I ask what surname your parents bore. The Monkey King said, I have no parents either. The Patriarch said, if you have no parents, were you born from a tree? The Monkey King said, though I was not born from a tree, I grew from a stone. I only remember a divine stone on Flower Fruit Mountain. I was born the year the stone split open. The Patriarch was secretly pleased. In that case, you are born of heaven and earth. Stand up and walk a few steps for me to see. The Monkey King leaped up and walked back and forth awkwardly. The Patriarch laughed. Though your body is simple, you resemble a pine-eating macaque. I will take a surname from your appearance. I first thought to name you Hu, but removing the animal radical leaves Hu. It represents an aged female by the literal meaning, but an aged female cannot produce. Thus I will have you surnamed Sun. Removing the animal radical leaves Sun. It represents a baby boy by the literal meaning, and that meaning exactly accords with the fundamental doctrine of the infant. So you shall be surnamed Sun. Overjoyed, the Monkey King bowed upward. Good, good, good. At last, I have a surname. I beg, Master, having given me a surname, grant me a given name so all may call me. The Patriarch said, my disciples bear 12 generational characters for names. You are the 10th generation of disciples. The Monkey King asked, what 12 characters? The Patriarch said, Grang, Da, Zhi, Hui, Zhen, Ru, Xing, Hai, Ying, Wu, Yun, Jie. Your turn falls on Wu. I shall give you the Dharma named Sun Wukong. Is that agreeable? The Monkey King laughed. Good, good, good. From now on, I am Sun Wukong. Truly, at the first creation of chaos, he had no name. Smashing stubborn void needs wake to the void. What Tao attainment he later achieved shall be revealed in the next chapter.